Hello and welcome to the AI with Arun show. Imagine you donate money to a local soup kitchen. You do it because you want to help feed the hungry, and the founders promise you it will always be a charity. But 10 years later you walk by, and that soup kitchen is now a private members-only restaurant worth $500 billion. And you aren't even allowed inside. That is exactly what Elon Musk claims happened to him. Welcome to the story of the OpenAI paradox. This isn't just a lawsuit. It is a battle over who controls the most powerful technology in human history. Today we are looking at the leaked emails, the private diaries, and the legal arguments to understand how a non-profit designed to save the world became the most valuable startup on Earth. Let's look at the numbers. Today, OpenAI is valued at roughly $500 billion. But in 2015, it was a tax-exempt non-profit. Elon Musk calls this the greatest bait-and-switch in the history of philanthropy. His argument is simple. He gave money to a charity, and that charity was stolen and turned into a for-profit cash machine for Microsoft. OpenAI's defense? They say this wasn't theft, it was survival. They claim they had to evolve to fight Google. So who is lying? To find out, we have to go back to the beginning. The year is 2015. At the time, Google had just bought DeepMind, and Larry Page was the king of AI. Elon Musk and Sam Altman were terrified. They believed that if Google, a giant corporation, controlled superintelligence, it could end in disaster. So they formed a rebel alliance. They called it a Manhattan Project for Safety. The plan was enshrined in what Musk calls the founding agreement. Create a non-profit that works for everyone, not shareholders. They even wrote in their certificate of incorporation that they were organized exclusively for charitable purposes. The goal was to build the AI, share it with the world, and stop Google from having a monopoly. But here is where the cracks start to show. To scare Google, OpenAI needed to look huge. In 2015, Musk sent an email saying, "We need to go with a much bigger number. Say we are starting with a $1 billion funding commitment. I will cover whatever anyone else doesn't provide." That sounded great, but discovery documents reveal a twist. Musk never put in that billion. Over 3 years, he contributed about $44 million. Other donors gave $90 million. OpenAI's lawyers are now using this against him. They're saying, "You promised $1 billion, you paid less than 5%, and you left us starving." They argue this failure to pay is what forced them to sell out to corporate investors later. Now let's talk about the name, OpenAI. Musk is suing them, claiming they breached the contract to be open source. But look at this email from 2016, years before ChatGPT. Chief scientist Ilya Sutskever wrote to Musk, saying that as AI gets smarter, it's totally okay to not share the science. He said open means everyone benefits from the result, not that everyone gets the code. Musk's reply, one word, yup. This is a massive blow to Musk's legal case. He literally agreed in writing that keeping secrets was okay as long as it was for safety. So calling them closed AI now might be catchy, but legally, he signed off on it years ago. By 2017, the team hit a wall. They discovered something called scaling laws. Basically, they realized that to make AI smarter, you don't just need clever code. You need massive industrial-scale supercomputers. Musk realized this too. He sent an email in 2018 saying, "This needs billions per year immediately, or forget it." Think about that. You cannot raise billions of dollars per year through charity donations. It's impossible. They had a Ferrari engine but no gas. They had to choose, stay a pure nonprofit and fail, or find a way to make money. This is the part of the story Musk doesn't like to talk about. In 2018, he had a solution to the money problem. Was it to find more donors? No. He proposed merging OpenAI into Tesla. He wanted Tesla to own OpenAI, and he demanded to be the CEO and have majority control. He wanted to turn it into a for-profit arm of his car company. Sam Altman and the team said no. They didn't want one person controlling AGI. So Musk quit. He walked out, told them their chance of success was 0%, and stopped paying the bills. This is crucial. Musk didn't leave because he hated for-profit models. He left because they wouldn't let him be the one to profit. But OpenAI isn't innocent here. This is the smoking gun of the lawsuit. During this transition, co-founder Greg Brockman wrote a private entry in his diary that has now been unsealed. He wrote, "I cannot believe that we committed to nonprofit if 3 months later we're doing B Corp, then it was a lie." He admitted he felt it would be morally bankrupt to switch structures after taking donations. Musk's lawyers are going to put this diary on a giant screen in court. It proves that the founders knew they were breaking their promise to donors. They knew it felt like a lie. With Musk gone, OpenAI needed a sugar daddy. Enter Microsoft, but they didn't just sell shares like a normal company. They created a weird Frankenstein monster called the Capped Profit Company. Here is how it worked. Microsoft put in billions. In exchange, they get 75% of the profits until they make their money back, and then 49% of the profits until they hit a cap, Let's say 100 times their money. After that, Microsoft gets nothing. Zero. All the extra money goes back to the nonprofit for humanity. It was a clever way to get funding without giving Microsoft control forever. But there was a catch, a loophole called the AGI Clause. Microsoft only has the rights to OpenAI's technology before it becomes AGI, Artificial General Intelligence. The moment OpenAI achieves AGI, Microsoft's license ends. The technology gets ripped away from Microsoft and goes back to the nonprofit. But here is the problem. Who decides when we have reached AGI? Originally it was the OpenAI board. This created a perverse incentive. If they admit they built AGI, they lose Microsoft's money. So, they are financially incentivized to lie and say, nope, not smart enough yet, just to keep the cash flowing. Fast forward to today. The capped profit model was too confusing for Wall Street. To build the next generation of AI, Altman needs trillions, not billions. So OpenAI is transforming again. They are becoming a public benefit corporation, or PBC. This is a special type of company that allows them to sell stock and make a profit, but it legally protects them if they choose to prioritize safety over shareholder money. It's a shield against pure greed, but it's also a definitive step away from being a charity. So who owns this $500 billion giant now? Microsoft owns about 27%. That's a stake worth $135 billion. Employees and venture capitalists own about 47%. And the nonprofit? It owns roughly 26%. But here is the kicker. Microsoft has no board control. They have invested nearly $14 billion, but they don't get a vote on the board. They are strictly a passenger on the ship, not the captain. So what is Musk actually suing for? He is throwing the kitchen sink at them. First, breach of contract. He says they violated the founding agreement to stay nonprofit. Second, promissory fraud. He claims they tricked him into donating money while secretly planning to go for profit. Remember that diary entry? Third, Rico. He is even using anti-mafia laws, claiming this was a conspiracy to defraud the public. He wants the court to seize their profits and put them into a trust for the world. RICO, the Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act, is a U.S. federal law passed in 1970 to combat organized crime by targeting criminal enterprises that engage in a pattern of racketeering activity, allowing prosecution of leaders and members for the entire enterprise's crimes, not just individual acts. OpenAI's defense is simple. There was no contract. They argue the emails were just brainstorming, an agreement to agree, not a signed legal document. And they point to Musk's hypocrisy. They are telling the judge, Elon is only suing us because he tried to turn us into a for-profit Tesla subsidiary and failed. They argue you can't sue someone for doing exactly what you tried to do yourself. To fix that conflict of interest we talked about, where they are tempted to never admit they built AGI, OpenAI created a new solution. They established an independent panel of experts. These aren't employees or investors. Their only job is to look at the AI and decide, is this AGI? If this panel says yes, the kill switch is triggered. Microsoft loses its license immediately. This is designed to insulate the most important decision in human history from the people who stand to lose money from it. As we head toward a massive trial in 2026, this is about more than just a feud between two billionaires. This trial will set the precedent for how we govern dangerous technology. Can a company take donations for a mission and then privatize the results? Can a public benefit corporation really protect us from shareholder greed? One thing is certain. The Manhattan Project for AI safety has become the most valuable business on Earth. The question is no longer whether they can build AGI, it's who controls the switch when it turns on. Thank you for watching the AI with Arun show. Please consider becoming a member. And please like, share, and subscribe. We will be back soon.